The hotter the testing, the brighter the lamp.
That's true. And in Revelation chapter 2, verse 2, it says, I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. I know what you cannot tolerate wicked people, and that you have tested those who claim to be the apostle, but are not, and have found them false.
We see from the first sentence of this passage that Jesus tells the Ephesians that he knows their deeds, their hard work, and that they have persevered in their faith.
That's right. And this is consistent with the idea that Jesus walks among us and has, that he knows what we're doing, what our challenges are, what they've been, what they are, what they will be.
What they will be. You see, we should not think that this term know means that Jesus has some crystal ball or he gets a memo from someplace or that he's sitting up in heaven and he's just getting a message from a distance about our religious productivity and our behavior. It's because he's with us and he's walking amongst us, and he really does know what's happening because he's experiencing it with us.
That's exactly right. Now, Jesus' opening statement to the Ephesians and to us is that he knows what is happening because, well, he's there in person, even as the supreme authority in the universe.
Just like we battle false prophets and false gods today, it's obvious that the people in Ephesus were also doing the same thing 2,000 years ago.
Well, Ephesus was the home of the Greek goddess Artemis, and there was great opposition to the Christian faith right from the beginning.
The Bible tells us that the Apostle Paul taught in the Jewish synagogue for several months before becoming frustrated with their stubbornness and their rigidness, right?
This became some of the first opposition to the Christian faith recorded in the New Testament.
Here's where it says that in Acts chapter 19, verse 9, when some stubbornly refused to believe and spoke evil against the way before the congregation, he left them, taking the disciples with him, and he argued daily in the lecture hall of Tyrannus. So we see Paul running into some opposition. So just make sure that you know you're going to run into opposition as well. It's a part of the game, but we shouldn't get worried about trying to be successful because Jesus has already done that at the cross for us.
It's a rough crowd out there, guys.
Yeah,
now, if you remember from Jesus' opening statement, he tells the Ephesians that they are a lampstand.
Now, a lampstand is used to support a candle or a lamp or something that's intended to bring a bright light into a dark place, and we see that Ephesus was most certainly a dark place, right?
That's true, like in the United States and like the world today. Now, we can see that Jesus is the one who had put Ephesus on the table to provide the light in the city where the darkness and the idolatry had reigned for centuries.
Here's what it says in chapter 5, verse 15. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house.
Now, when we read the letter to Ephesus, we might think it's all about rebuking the church. It's truly meant to draw them near to him, to strengthen and to encourage them in their dark place.
That's absolutely true. Now, I think that we can all say that at one time or another in our faith, we've all kind of stumbled around in the dark. And I know that when I've stumbled and when you probably have, we need more than just the wrath of God to straighten us out, but we also need acceptance and encouragement from our Savior. And I think that encouragement, love, and understanding and encouragement from our Savior sometimes works a little bit better than maybe a lightning bolt sent down from the throne of God on us. Although punishment and judgment are a part of it, I think Jesus understands that his work at the cross wasn't so that we could be judged. It's so that we could be saved, right?
True. It's like a good parent, right?
Absolutely.
You got to have end on the good note, start with a good note, and end on that good note. And Jesus actually went on to say the following in Revelation chapter 2, verse 3, where he said, you have persevered and have endured hardships for my name and have not grown weary.
Now, just like the church in Ephesus, Jesus walks with you, and he will use you to provide light in a dark place.
Now, what he hopes is that just like the Ephesians, we won't grow weary and that we'll walk a little closer to him so that his light will help us not to stumble.
Thank you for joining Les and Tracy King for A Word on the Word. Visit awordontheword.tv to receive their latest audio or video broadcast. A Word on the Word is sponsored by First Century Ministry